Hello. Let's talk about Chapter 4 homework. For question number 1, we have 10 transactions for Escobedo shipping service we need to record a journal entry for. The first transaction states, gave a cash refund of $875 to a customer because of a lost package. The customer had previously paid in cash. Okay. It sounds like Escobedo shipping gave the customer cash. That means that our cash decreased and assets decrease with credits. There you go, we figured out the credit for this transaction. Now, let's think about the debit for this transaction. We are reversing fees income. That means our revenue decreases. Fees income is part of equity and equity increases with credits and decreases with debits. So, that's what we have to do, we need to decrease revenue with a debit. Now, we figured it out. Fees income debit and cash credit. What about the next transaction? Let's take a look at that. Escobedo Shipping Service sent a check for $1,250 to the utility company to pay the monthly bill. Just like in the first transaction, our cash decreased, and we now know that cash decreases with a credit. But, what account do we need to debit? The utility expenses increase and expenses are part of equity, equity increases with credits and decrease with debits. Expenses decrease equity. Therefore, we would debit utility expenses. Also think of the video about debits and credits, and the acronym dealer we use to remember the accounts that increase with debits and decrease with credits. Right there, it shows expenses and that expenses have a normal debit balance and increase with debits. Ready to write in the debit for this transaction. A debit to utility expenses. For question 2, just like question number 1, we have transactions that we need to record a journal entry for. Let's prepare the journal entry for the second transaction. Mason Consulting purchased office equipment for $5,700 on credit. The bill is due in 30 days. In this case, we purchased office equipment, which is an asset. So, the assets increased. And, what else happened? The business now has higher liabilities. That means, we have to debit office equipment and credit accounts payable. For question number 3, we are posting transactions into the general ledger. The amounts are different than question number 2, but the type of transactions are the same. So, let's try transaction number 2 and post it to the general ledger. The business purchased office equipment, which means a debit to the account equipment. The business bought the equipment on credit, which means our accounts payable increased. That means we have to credit accounts payable. Let's do that now. Let's write the date, and the debit of $6,400 into the equipment account. Next, let's write the credit part of our journal entry into the accounts payable account by writing the date and then $6,400 into the credit column. That's it for today. Hope this short video was helpful. Don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions.